Joining me live now is former Australian Federal Police and criminologist Dr. David Craig. Thanks for your time today. We'll get to more federal issues at the moment. I just want to get your thoughts, though, on the protests. I mean, Palestine activists today have said that the marches simply have nothing to do with the rise in anti-Semitism that we've seen over the last couple of years. This is despite, of course, terrorist flags being displayed, chants including globalise the Intifada, from the river to the sea, death to the IDF, we could go on. Also the burning of the Australian flag. Just your response to that.
What they're saying is absolute nonsense. It's inextricably linked to what happened to Bondi. Their movement is emboldening the radical thinking of anti-Semitism and radical Islamic movement. It's just absolute nonsense. Anyone that swallows that is a fool.
David, what is your understanding of why the worst terror attack on Australian soil would not warrant a National Royal Commission?
I can't think of one reason why there shouldn't be a National Royal Commission, a Commonwealth Royal Commission. I was personally a Royal Commission investigator in New South Wales into the New South Wales police corruption back in the 90s. I know how effective it is, but it's only effective statewide. We need a Commonwealth Royal Commission if we want to actually find out what went on, who knew what, who actioned what the government was told, and what they did with that information. And there's a range more questions that need to be answered, because this isn't just about Bondi. This is the 2 years leading up to Bondi.
On the Royal Commission, I mean, this isn't a state-by-state issue. We know that. This requires a whole of Australia response. As you've just said, all of the incidents leading up to that, some of which were not in New South Wales. They were in Melbourne, synagogues being burned, the protest occurring in Melbourne every single weekend. Isn't it imperative to consider the conditions that led to the attack and then the mechanisms which were or could have been available to prevent it, state and federally? My concern is the Prime Minister says he wants to do everything in his power to get to the bottom of this and prevent it from happening in the future. Then why not support a Royal Commission?
If he's doing everything in his power, then he is simply powerless. And I have to say, look, I'm apolitical, right? I think Chris Minns is doing a great job as far as state legislation goes. Anthony Albanese is looking for a scapegoat with some inferior interdepartmental review by the departments that failed us and by the government that failed the Jewish people on that tragic Sunday. There is no reason why we shouldn't have a Commonwealth-funded Royal Commission where people running it have the appropriate security clearances. So ASIO, ASIS, the AFP, DSD, all these departments can speak freely. The reports don't have to be classified, they can be redacted. But if we don't have that, the state simply doesn't have reach in or clearance at the appropriate levels to examine exactly what led to this and why the inaction in the last 2 years has led to Bondi.
In your understanding, what is the difference between a New South Wales Royal Commission and a National Royal Commission in regards to the complexity and ability of its investigations?
Well, the New South Wales Royal Commission has, New South Wales jurisdiction. It can, summons people into state, but the real force will come with jurisdiction. And if a Commonwealth agency can reach into every single Commonwealth department, and let's face it, terrorism is carried by both state and federal. Chris Minns has made it clear that he's going to cooperate with the Commonwealth. Why there wouldn't be a Commonwealth Royal Commission, I mean, I can think of a number of reasons of why they'd be trying to avoid that, and they're not very savoury.
What do you make about the comments of Chrissy Barrett saying that this attack was not about religion?
Look, I'm a Chrissy Barrett supporter, but I have to say I was shocked and very disappointed with that statement. It is, of course, it's about religion. It's in the counter-terrorism legislation. It's an important element. To say otherwise is just a nonsense. She needs to turn to her 2IC, Assistant Commissioner Stephen Nutt, who's an expert in running counter-terrorism investigations, for advice. If she's going to believe that, then if you don't recognise what the problem is to take it front on, she's going to miss the ball completely.
David, does Australia have an extremist problem here? And is it out of control in your view? Are you concerned about how many people could possibly be on ASIO's watch list that currently hold extremist views and want to hurt Australians?
Unfortunately, the answer to both those questions is yes. There's been signs, even publicly available information indicates a rise in anti-Semitism and a rise in radical Islamic thinking are both commensurate and intertwined. They've both risen over the past 2 years to the point where there are people that have been drawn into supporting Gaza who, for all good reasons. I had friends that went to these protests, didn't agree with it, but they went. And they're good people, expecting to do the best they can. But this has just motivated and emboldened the radical Islamic thinking that now there's permissive to go after the Jewish people. Things like Hizbut Tahrir being allowed to be, for those that don't know, they are a global jihadist organisation that is banned in the UK. It's banned in Germany. It's banned in most Muslim countries. Last month, they had a public meeting in Tony Burke's electorate in Sydney to talk about their goals of global jihad and putting down the Jewish people and separating believers and non-believers and having the whole world live under Sharia law. If that doesn't happen in Tony Burke's own electorate, then God help this country.
I mean, what's concerning me is a government's first job is to protect every Australian's life and safety. That's the number one job. Do you trust in our government to do that? And are you concerned about future attacks?
I have to say, the current government I have no confidence in whatsoever. I do with Chris Minns's government, but that's, as we said, restricted by state boundaries. The federal government has been found wanting. They are looking for excuses. They have not acted on Gillian Siegel's report into anti-Semitism for 6 months. Why appoint someone to make recommendations and not read them or enact them? I'm very concerned about our future. If things don't change, we need to fundamentally change the way we approach this. Appeasement of the aggressors has just led to more aggression, and that's led to where we are now. We need to stand up strongly against those that don't believe in or support Australian values. And this isn't about race. This is about being Australian.
Dr. David Craig, thank you as always for your time and analysis on Sky News. We really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.